Hi guys, have you ever wanted to help someone more than they wanted to help themselves? I think there's something that comes along with maturing as a person. It's the realization that in some ways, we're much less powerful than we thought we were. What I mean is, as children, we think we can save the world, but then we grow up and realize that we can hardly save ourselves. The scope of our influence and responsibility can be extremely narrow, and yet most people find it challenging to even handle that. So, what do? We try to escape that circle and fix other people. We let an altruistic sense of empathy bind us to the fact that we're broken ourselves. But there are some people who just don't want to be saved. Instead, they relish in the attention and empathy you give them, because they have become comfortable being the victim. At this point, no matter how far you reach your hand out to help them, you'll eventually start to feel like they're dragging you down with them. Does this sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Every single one of us has had that one person in our lives that we want to see happy and thriving. It might be your relationship with the person that you care about, a friend that you can't let go, or a close relative you feel obligated to help. Hell, sometimes it could even be your parent. But if they're hell-bent on going in a downward spiral in life, mentally, physically, emotionally, or financially, then it might be best to just cut the cord and stop yourself from falling with them. Personally, I'm one of those people who have never found it extremely difficult to cut off toxic people from my life. That's just the way my personality is, but I know a lot of people struggle with this, and it's easier said than done. But there's a reason why I say this is so important. Chances are you're hurting both yourself and the person that you're trying to help by enabling them. You have become their crutch for complacency as they feed off the attention and validation you give them in their victimhood. They've become extremely complacent, with wallowing in self-pity as you constantly stand over their shoulder, ready to help. Then there's you, burdened with an emotional blind spot that keeps you from seeing that the person you're aiming to help has actually turned into your emotional crutch. You also get a euphoric sense of virtue every time you try to help while sidestepping people and problems in your own life that demand your attention. There's actually a term for this: helper's high. It was coined by an author and psychologist by the name of Alan S. Levine in the 1980s. Helper's high is that rush of feel-good chemicals in your brain that you get every single time you feel like you're helping someone. Sometimes it's that high that you've become addicted to. The fact is, if they wanted to dig themselves out, they would. It's crucial that you understand what kind of person you're dealing with, because that's what makes the difference between genuinely helping someone to get back on their feet versus engaging in a toxic relationship where two people use each other to feel good about themselves in their victimhood. To draw an analogy from physics, black holes in space have what's called an event horizon. It's a point at a certain distance from the center of that black hole, where the force of gravity is too strong for anything to turn back, even light. That's the point some people have crossed in their minds and in their lives, and if you reach in to help, you'll also fall into that same darkness. It's not about being selfish or not having empathy. It's about putting it in the right place, which is yourself and the people you're responsible for before anybody else. The circle of responsibility starts within you, and only then can it start to expand. But the truth is, when you've saved yourself successfully, you'll realize you have very little energy left to save the world. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.